Hello and welcome to React lecture series. So now that we have completed all the different components, front end and back end part, and we also touched the database. So now it's coming to merging all the things together. So in this lecture, we'll discuss first and then we'll show the coding demo. So first we'll discuss about what the updates we need to do at the front end, and then what the update we need to do at the back end. Okay, so we need to check both the front end and the back end for the corresponding chains. So we'll do basically the information retrieval. Okay, so initially, since our database is the student database, so we will extract in the default route. We'll extract all the student information. We'll just display the name, not all the information. But then the each student name will also get a link. And then if you click that, and it shows the details of the student. Okay. So at the front end, to do that, will control the input using useState method, and then we also use useEffect to for fetching the data from the server, and then we'll also use the fetch method to send the request to the appropriate address. Okay, and then at the back end, we'll also do the corresponding changes. Like, okay, we'll explicitly send the JSON format data and also the error. Okay. So in the coding part, maybe I'll create two separate videos, otherwise it will be too long. So we'll start with this one that we did in our previous coding demo. That's we created the React router as the front end, the React components router, and also created the links, right? So we will clone from that repository, the existing repository, and then we'll systematically modify them to make it a full stack application. Okay. And then we also have the backend where we have the RESTful API are created. We created separate server and then separate routes, right? So that's we have done. So we also use that one. Okay, so we'll use this too, and then I'll give the link of these two repository in the video description. Okay, so let's get started. So first you'll see the backend, because the backend we don't need to change too much. So this is our current backend for the accessing all the information here, our students information. Okay, it can be your product, it can be your whatever the database, right? So it's basically here our student model dot find, it fetch all the information. Okay, and then we send the response as a 200 status code, right? So I modified a little bit in here. That's we'll go and see in the coding demo that I mean, obviously there will be try and catch block, and then we'll see that if you fetch the student from the database, MongoDB database, and then if the response is not there, then you so this is the status code it will send to the user, that 404, that's the status code, and then we'll send the message in a JSON format. Okay. um, and then this one is for the successful case, that okay, if the response is there, then we'll send the 200 status code and send the response. Okay, so I added this one more error message. And then also we'll send in a JSON format this one. Okay, the previously we sent in the send format. So send is basically it's more generic, but JSON is like you are forcing to send the message in a JSON format, and then this is the JSON format message. So we have the property and the value. Okay, so we'll say that okay, 500 status code, which means that whether the database or the server error, and then you'll send this status code. Okay, so that will be our retrieve all the information route. Now we will render that at the user point, but before going to there, that we also see that another route that we'll touch, which is the retrieve a specific student information. When you click a student name, right? So and then it will go to here. So it will match with this route sent by ID, and then it will extract that ID information, okay, from the request.params, and then it will find by ID, okay. So you don't need to convert this one as a MongoDB object ID, since it will internally will be done by the Mongoose, okay. So if you use the MongoDB, then you need to use to convert it to object ID, convert this one, okay. But now we don't need to, okay, since we are using Mongoose. And then if the response is okay, then we send the response. If not okay, then we will send the error message. And then if the try fails, then the catch will send the error message that server, database server or web server is failed. Okay. So these are our front end, oh, sorry, backend. This is the front end. Okay. So in the front end, we'll create API helper components. Okay. API helper function component. And this basically will take all of our helper function. Okay. So since we are just doing the retrieval in this class, so we'll have get students, and then also we have get student by ID. Okay. So here you see that this is our API endpoint. Okay, so that's what we are running our server with the local host with the port number is 3000, and then API students. Okay, so the first one will fetch, okay, with this endpoint, and then you see that the await keyword here, and the function is asynchronous. Okay, so that's we already explained why we are going to use asynchronous and await is because we want to do this asynchronously, so to make the things faster, right? um, and then after that you get the response. Whatever the response is a JSON format response. It can be an error message or it can be the successful data. You send it, right? Now, for this one, you need to send the API endpoint, and then you also need to add a forward slash and then the ID. Okay, so the ID is coming from the function who is calling the get students by ID, right? So when you call the get student by ID, you pass the ID, which is the student ID here. That's your passing. So that you need to pass, and that one will go as a part of the fetch URL. Okay. And then when you get the response, you just return the response, and we'll extract this response from our component. Okay. So we are exporting this one. So these are the named export. These are not the default export. Okay. So we are exporting get students and get student by ID. Okay. So that's why you need to use the curly braces, because these are the named export, not the default export. Okay, now let's see the get students components. Okay, so we already have the get students component previously created, but it was coming from the static file, which is not from the database. So we need to now modify it for doing it in the database. And then we also added some functions to make it more user accessibility improvement. So, and also we use the control inputs. Okay, so here we said that our students is initialized by useState hook. Okay, so we said that, okay, the array is initially the array is empty. Okay, and then we also initialize the error message with the useState hook, as the error message is initially empty, is basically empty string. And then is loading we initialize as a boolean as false. Okay, so these are some initialization. And here is our use effect. So you also need to import these use effect hook. Okay, and then in the use effect, so use effect has one callback function and then one array, right? So here our array is, so what the array actually represent, the array represent that when the use effect will be triggered, right? So when it is empty, it means that when you render these components, the student component, and then every time you render or refresh this component, then this one will be triggered. Okay, so what this one is doing, so inside this we have a fetch student function. Okay, so fetch student function is also being called in here. Okay, so this is the function definition, and here we are going to call this function. So what this function is, okay, so inside this function we are basically reinitialize, so that if there was any previous students, because these are states, right? So these are hooks, it can have the previous memory. So we clear all the previous memory, okay? And then here we said that since you're going to fetch the data, because you're going to call the getStudent function from our helper function, and you see that we actually call the helper function here, okay? GetStudents from our helper function API. Okay. And so before that, we say that, okay, since we are going to fetch the new data, so now we say that set loading is true. Okay. So when the set loading is true, basically user can see some message. So for example, when the is loading is true, then you are showing this message that, okay, it's loading, so that user know that there is something happening at the behind the scene. Okay, now if you get the response okay, so that means you receive the data successfully. Okay, so then you can format the data in a JSON format. Okay, so that's why we write response.json. So whatever the format the data was coming, okay, so it will, although we are sending the JSON format data, but we also need to um, convert this one, okay, as the user end as well. So response.json will convert the data, and then we'll update the set student through the set student function. We'll update the student variable, which is then which is array variable, right? So it will update using the set student function. Now, if the response is not okay, then we'll say that, okay, we'll generate some error message. Okay, and this error message will display. Okay, so if there is any error message, then we display in here. And then since the loading is done, then we'll say set loading is false. Okay. So, okay, so you explain everything except this one is for successful case when you have the set of students in an array format, then we need to iterate through. So that's why the map function is, okay? So now the each student is come as an object, okay? Because we have the set of students, and then each student is basically represented by an object, okay? So now we need to iterate through the each object. So we say student dot id to string. So that's basically student id. We give a link to it, okay, because that's where our the details route will be. Okay, so that is that the link. Okay, and then we are giving this link to the student name. Okay, so student name is getting the link, and the link is basically pointing to this route, which is basically go to a route where you fetch this specific student information. Okay, so that is basically the student component, which basically shows only the student name. So let's this one shows the student name in a p tag format. This student will be inside in a p tag, and then the student will get a link. Okay, but the link is point to the student ID and with this route. Okay. So, and then finally we need to export, because all the components we need to export, right? Because somewhere we need to call this component. Okay. So in this case, we will call this component from the app.js. Since app.js is not modified, so I'm not going to show in here, but you can find it in the GitHub repository. Now, this is that when you click a student, and then we see that when you click a student and it goes to this route. Okay, so this is this route that when you go to see the specific details of a student and by the ID, so we'll get the ID using useParams hook. Okay, so we get the ID. And then here is some initialization. Okay, so initially we say that student is null. Okay, so student is an object, so it's a null object. Error message is empty string, and then is loading is initially false. Okay, so same here, we initialize here inside the useEffect function. Inside the useEffect, we also have a callback function, right? So this is our fetch student by ID, and we are going to call this function in here. And then the another argument here in the useEffect function is the ID array. Okay, so it means that if the ID is changed, okay, or ID, value is revised, or you're sending a new ID, then useEffect will be triggered. And then when the useEffect will be triggered, then it call the fetch student by ID function, and here is the fetchStudentById function. So what the fetchStudentById function is doing, it reinitialize all our control inputs, and then it's actually calling the getStudentById function, which actually we have defined in our helper functions. Okay, and you see that we have imported that one from our helper function. Now, if the response is okay, then you parse the data in JSON format and then update the set student function, okay, and passing the result, and then it's basically update the student. Okay, and then you need to render the student information here, right? So this is the condition that if student is not null anymore, so this is your ternary operator, okay? So if the student is not null, then you basically display the student information. Otherwise, you will display the error message, which is in here, okay? So if the response is not okay, then you generate some error message, and then that error message will be in here, okay? Now, you also flag down for is loading because the loading is done, fetching is done. So user set is loading is false. So while you are loading, then this will be true, and then it shows this message. Since we will do in our local computer for server and the client, it should not be, we can see this one. We don't expect this one. But think about that when you need to fetch from a server and a server is not inside your computer, it's going through some networks, then you can expect this based on your internet speed. Okay, so that's the is loading, and then that's the error message. So we need to now think about this one. So since this is an object, the student is an object, so we need to see what are in the part of the student. So in the students, we have the ID, and since the ID is generated by the MongoDB, so it is basically a unique ID, and the ID is basically an object form. Okay, so you also need to check that whether the value of an key is an object. Okay, so for example, if for example ID, when the ID is a key, the value is actually object. So if it is an object, we cannot just show the value of it. We need to stringify it. Okay, so that's the JSON just stringify. It will string the it will convert the object into a string, and then we can display it. Otherwise, we'll get an error. Okay, for other fields, other value, we can just print the value. Okay, so that's we actually have already discussed in the React component part how we can render an object, right? And how we can render an array. So those are the things that you need to check if you miss those lectures, okay? So, and then finally, we need to export the student details. And then we'll import this from the app.js, and then we'll just link it to our navigation bar. Okay, so that's it about the explanation part. So let's go and do the coding part. Okay, thank you very much.